Ooh.
It's
It's like running down his hand.
I've been replaced.
Dang.
It is time for the opening crack, the sideshow to the D&D show we normally do, where we taste and rank some beer.
That's what a real beer sounds like.
Damon, how's it going over there?
Good thing I'm here.
Strong pull ran down his knuckles. Oh, it was so good. I love it.
That's right.
Joining the ranks of
You're
those
welcome.
worthy to take the opening crack, Damon.
Hey, you guys, you're fired. Tired.
I even waited for the signal.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. After I had to mute all of you.
So Phil, what are we drinking tonight?
Tonight, we are drinking a true D&D beer, the Griffin, brewed by Grim Brothers Brewing from Loveland, Colorado. Shout out to our follower in Loveland.
Except he's in Longmont.
Oh,
Same thing.
Colorado has
different
too
guy.
many of those
They all blend
L-named
They all blend
towns.
together. No,
Loveland
Phil
and
was-
Longmont, they're like, what, 30 minutes apart-ish?
Phil was
Oh,
thinking
right.
about
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The other listener.
Yeah.
I had
Our other
family
friend.
that lived in Loveland once. Shout out to them. They don't live there anymore, but they used to. So,
Let me go to our analytics and see how many Loveland followers.
see,
See?
even Ross is
Yeah,
messing
you're
it
right.
up. It's
You're
fine.
right.
This can, because I'm just going to steal the spotlight here for a little bit because the can is in my hand, is glorious. Griffin, right on the front of the can, wings outstretched, perched upon what maybe looks like, I don't even know, rooftop?
Yeah, I
sort
think
of,
so.
Right? Is that kind of what that is? Treescape in the back, possibly setting sun in the background. Their logo at the top too kind of looks almost like, I don't know, a phoenix
Yeah.
ish holding two beer steins.
If Wizards of the Coast made a beer, I feel like it would look like this.
That's a very German symbol.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I agree.
It's holding two frothy beers.
And then there's almost some like filigree around the edges too, as well, that have.
Filigree.
Just makes me want to start singing "Roll Out the Barrel."
Well, that's what.
Oh,
that
we're-
is,
oh,
right?
that's-
Isn't it?
filigree.
We're making up words
Dang,
tonight.
That's
Okay.
a real word, you assholes.
Is the can feel a little matte and not as silky smooth?
It
as
is a
normal?
very matte finish on this can as well.
That's a lot bigger word than what was that word
Ire?
Ross used? Ire the other night?
Okay, wow.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. There's a
How about
wrap
that
in it
opening
in the
crack, though,
filigree.
guys? Pretty good.
Beautiful.
I think this might be a dragon, but it kind of looks like it has legs. You see that in the filigree? No, because I'm the only one that cares about the filigree.
We've all moved on.
I see that. Whatever. This is a Blood Orange Hefeweizen.
So, first thoughts. Take a sip. What are we thinking?
I feel as though we're spending so much time talking about the can.
Yeah, there's a beer inside of there.
in part because we don't really have a lot to say about the beer.
I don't know. So, for being a blood orange beer, I don't taste a whole lot of orange.
I'm not sure I'm familiar enough with the flavor profile of a blood orange to really rule it out. I feel like I can smell a little bit of citrus. The smell is there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't necessarily identify the flavor, and that could just be my palate. I think there's a difference between this Bavarian style Hefeweizen versus maybe what we in America think of as like a normal Hefeweizen. Not normal, but non-Bavarian style Hefeweizen.
Mm-hmm.
This, I could tell. Like, there's a difference. There's a distinct taste. I feel like that carries.
Sure.
I don't know if it's probably yeast. Maybe is that what I'm picking up?
I feel as though a lot of times the yeast is the really sort of defining characteristic for Hefeweizens. They give it that sort of really particular flavor. I think, Ross, you were saying that you felt as though you noticed some banana sorts of flavors.
Yeah.
I get, the more that I let it sit on my tongue after I've swallowed it, I get more pepper. So I get like a little bit of a peppery sort of aftertaste to it, which would be most likely from the yeast as well.
I almost feel like it. So a while back we had a half where they leaned into saying that it was banana flavor, right? And so this one I feel is almost more banana-y. agree with you, Phil. When you swirl it around, you give it like a nice big whiff. Like you do get some citrus notes in there, but it doesn't come through on the taste, which is interesting to me.
So it's really weird. I just had the last taste of this can in front of me, right? And at the very, very end, very back of my palate, I taste citrus.
Really?
Yes. Last drink. And I don't know.
You win.
I don't, like, I almost don't trust it, right? Like, I've had a glass at this point, and I'm like, I didn't really taste it. But right there at the end, I'm like, oh, there it is. And that's the only one I got.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I do get the peppery cloveness. It's like slightly banana-y, then the peppery, and then you're right, tail in right before you lose the flavor.
Yes,
It's like
yeah.
citrus. Interesting.
Blood oranges are supposed to be generally sweeter and less acidic than like a regular orange.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more mellow and smooth than the citrusy bite that an orange would give it.
Makes sense probably why we can smell it, but you don't necessarily, like, it doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
That taste doesn't hit you.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just kind of interesting because I've had some like other blood orange beers that definitely lean into like being citrus forward, but some of those weren't Hefeweizens either. So I think that might be part of this is like the subtle blood orange flavor competing with that yeastiness that's giving that banana clovey style peppery palate taste. So I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Ross, you picked this one up for us. Why did you pick up this can for our listeners?
Excuse me.
As you took
It's
a
my first
huge
time
sip.
drinking.
Well, you're doing very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So honestly,
You should be encouraged, honestly, by your
by how well I'm
performance.
downing beers.
Mhm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You should start a podcast.
Oh gosh, if I ever had time.
I think you might really grow into it.
The
You've
podcast or the
shown
beer drinking?
The beer
Yes.
drinking.
Oh, okay.
You've shown a natural talent,
Thank you.
I would say.
I think I have the right figure for
for
it.
that being your.
I don't have the right figure for many things, but beer drinking may be one. Okay, why did I pick this up? I think primarily because of the can. So it's like I was recently out in Colorado. If you notice this season, we've had quite a few Colorado beers. And so when we had stopped, you look at it's kind of like picking a wine, right? When you go down that aisle where there's like just shelves and shelves of wine, you start looking at labels and what has the cool wine label, right? These are all Cabernets, and which one looks the coolest, right? So it's like when I'm looking at shelves of beer, I start looking at labels, and this one like I was drawn to because it felt like D&D to me. So it's like the Grim Brothers, like that name, just cool, like the fairy tales, and then the Griffin being mythical creature. I loved it, the whole thing.
Did you talk about the little story on the can?
Oh yeah, so that was the other thing, and I actually didn't know this until after I had got the beer. But this can goes a long way, a lot further than most beers. Where they talk about the style, that it's a Bavarian style Hefeweizen. They talk about the characters in this beer, like the hops being Magnum and Hersbrucker. Is that the correct pronunciation? How would you pronounce
Who
it?
knows?
Who knows?
Hersbrucker.
That is
Hersbrucker?
what Hersbrucker. We're going with whatever. And then the malt being Pilsner, Vienna, and white wheat. But the coolest part was at the bottom when it had like this little story. And I'll read you this first paragraph because it's what's on the can. It says, once upon a time, many years later, the king had a problem. 4, actually. A broken-hearted teenage daughter, a lazy and chubby adolescent son, a sad and frustrated wife, and a tree that wouldn't die. And then there's a QR code that leads to a story on their website that is like 3 more pages long. And I just love the fact that you're already picked it up because it feels D&D, and then here's this lovely story that somebody made up, and it's great. It's like, this is perfect for me.
So that is one place you can find this beer. So we're going to switch into where we think you could find this beer in Faerun. So going across the Sword Coast, where would you be finding this one? Damon, do you have somewhere for us?
I got some, but I got a place.
You okay over there?
Would you like me to share it?
Damon's Place. No.
Yeah, where are we going?
We're going to Musty Misty's
Ooh.
for a taste of Sunrise Delayed. Is the name?
Sunrise delayed.
I like
Okay,
that.
I like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
like you want it to get better, and
I was
Wait
thinking
till sunrise?
we're waiting for the blood orange to rise, like that. I like it.
All right.
Ross, where are you headed?
We are headed to the Gilded Goblet, which is in the heart of Waterdeep. This place is known for its exquisite and macabre drink selection.
Okay.
I was going to say
Macabre.
something,
Is that
something
your
about
new big
macabre. That's
word?
my new word.
Good
More than
word.
3 letters.
Making up
Thank
for
you.
iron.
Wow.
Their macabre drink selection, because this one may have actual blood in it, and it is called the Blood Moon Mead. Maybe goblin.
I feel like we might have some like rabies issues here.
It's Faerun. There are way worse things happening. Let's be real.
Fey
I don't
pox.
know. You don't want to get rabies.
Where's the health inspector?
Yeah.
Good question.
Hey, there's a character idea. You are the health inspector of Faerun.
Oh, you guys just wait.
Can we have what class would that be?
Cleric.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or paladin?
Or paladin. He's
paladin.
smiting people.
You will clean up your act.
Yeah, it's got to be pure.
All right, Phil, where are you taking us?
Well, if you would like to find this elusive beer, you're going to have to track down Burke. Because Burke brews this in his cave, and he only serves it to his friends and family who begrudgingly drink it and tell him that he does a good job of home brewing. And he likes to call this Troll Tracks.
Oh wow.
I like it. I am going to go kind of based off of the story that was on the can. I'm going to change it a little bit. So you are going to find this, or you're not going to find this actually. You're going to stumble across it in the woods. If you venture off of the well-traveled roads, you might stumble across Glenda's little witch hut off deep in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And Glenda is kind of a judgmental little witch.
Oh, wow.
And she had another traveler come through that sampled some of their beers that they had along with them,
Mm-hmm.
and they were terrible. And so she made up her own just to prove them wrong. And so it is Glenda's specialty beer known as It's Better Than Willie's.
I thought you were going to say it's called Karen.
Also what she said.
Yeah, it's better than Willie's. So,
Bonus crack.
oh, we got a bonus crack. So where on the challenge rating are we going to put this one? So we're going from challenge rating 1 all the way up to challenge rating 20 or beyond. And so the challenge rating 1 is like a cream ale, really easy to drink, welcome to beer. Challenge rating 20, kind of the opposite end, a double IPA, a beer drinker's beer. You got to have kind of some experience in the game to drink it. Where are we placing this one?
Okay, I think that I went first, so I'll go first again.
Oh,
I think that there is. Did I go first before?
yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
Please
okay.
do it.
Go.
Take it,
It's fine.
Damon. Take it.
I'm taking it.
Hey, there's the coop shake.
Poop out.
I'm going to take it all
Dungeon
the way.
The
dog.
dungeon dog
Fine.
is saying hello.
Puppy. I think that there is a reason why Hefeweizens are not the most popular beer style around. They're just, I don't know.
Less
You-
approachable.
Yeah, and like if you don't know what you're getting into, they taste kind of stale in some
Yeah.
ways. I
Sure.
find, right? So, but at the same time, I don't find it overly challenging to drink. So I'm gonna go with an 11.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I was actually leaning higher. I think myself. Mainly, I feel like you almost have to like this style of beer to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you don't necessarily love that kind of yeasty flavor that lives in Hefeweizen, this might turn you off. So initially I was thinking like an 18, but Damon's 11 makes
wow.
me think I was too high. So I'll drop that to a 15.
No,
But
no
I
one-
would say
no one should listen to me.
if you don't like the yeasty flavor in a beer, you're probably not going to like this. Personally, I'd probably put it at a 12 myself. It's not my favorite style of beer either. I would drink it, but it's not something that I gravitate towards. This would be like an Oktoberfest style beer for me. I would drink it seasonally because it's appropriate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
Ross, where are you putting it?
I'm very torn on this one. I think the thing for me is Blood Orange is going to pull a lot of people in because they're going to think, oh, a citrusy flavored beer and it's going to be easy to drink and it's going to be bright and fresh. And they're going to get this one and it's not a super forward tasting citrus.
Yeah.
The yeast gives you those banana flavors, which is not what you're expecting at all. Plus the fact that it is a little bitter. It's not like...
I agree.
It's not off-putting in any way, which makes me think this is probably like a 17 to me.
Maybe I'll put mine back at an 18.
Okay,
What you got, Brett?
I'm going to go 14, kind of along the same lines. This is, you kind of got to be ready for it. I will say, though, switching up to saying yay or nay, would you drink this one again? At first, I was kind of like, maybe not, but I think I would under the right circumstances. Like, if we're going to be playing D&D, this is a good beer for playing D&D because it's like one that you can let sit for a little while. It's not like you want to finish it kind of quickly. This is
Sipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That's true. I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yay or nay, Ross?
I would say yay. I do like it. I wish it had more citrus flavor. At the end of the day, that's what I really want out of that beer, and I'm not getting. But it's good enough that I would definitely have another can of it.
You need that orange slice. That a Hefeweizen
I do,
a lot
and
of
so
times
that
comes
maybe is what's missing here is we don't have an orange slice in this. So
Yeah. This is a nay for me.
okay,
I don't need to have another one of these.
Fair enough.
I split the line. I probably wouldn't go buy it, but if I was served it or like we sat down to play D&D and I had some, like I would drink it definitely, but I would probably buy something else personally.
so I just want to before we wrap up here, I want to know that the last time we had a Hefeweizen, I was maybe flayed a little bit that I did not have an orange slice. So I seriously, there are cuties in the fridge upstairs. I thought about busting out open a cutie and throwing a cutie wedge in everybody's beer.
Does a cutie even count as an orange?
It's
No.
not really.
Not
but
at all.
it's
But I thought it'd be very smart assish of me.
That would be pretty hilarious. I like it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I hijacked the show.
So this has been the Griffin Blood Orange from Grim Brothers Brewing out of Loveland, Colorado. You can find more about them on Facebook, or you know how to Google. You can find their website. You're a big kid. I'm sure you can find it. But that is going to do it for this episode. Stay tuned for more beer reviews in the future. You can check out our regular show, Bars and Barrels, anywhere podcasts can be found. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Bars and Barrels. Until next time, may your dice be hot and your beer